Hello everyone, welcome back to Naomi's Bookshelf. We are going to do my third quarterly Agatha Christie review, where I'm going to talk about the 3 Agatha Christie books that I read in July, August, and September, of which I own 2, and the third one I listened to on on audio from my library. So let's jump into, I think we'll go in order of that I read them. That just seems to make sense to me. So the first one that I read was Sad Cypress. This one was a murder in retrospect kind of book. That's not the title. There is one with that title though. I think it's also called 5 Little Pigs. Anyways, it's that kind of similar story where it's reflecting on the crime, but it's not a distant history crime. So this one follows there's a trial happening, and what is their names? I can't even remember anymore. Eleanor, which is, by the way, my favorite name, so I should remember that. Eleanor has been accused of murdering her rival in a romantic relationship or for inheritance. There's a few different options for why she would kill this young lady. And this is during the trial that she is being accused of this, but also Hercule Poirot has been asked by people around her to look into it to prove her innocence. Now, this is something where he's like, I'm not going to prove her innocence, I'll prove the truth. And so he starts to look into this crime that has happened. It's still recent, but it's not like currently going on. And she doesn't really have a good defense, to be honest. So I found this one to be really enjoyable. This one definitely was interesting to me with the different levels of crime and guilt, and Poirot not being sure if she actually did it or not, who's guilty and who's not, and Poirot being quite undecided. And even for a while, he's thinking that Eleanor did it because of just the evidence, how it lines up. So the whole time through, you're not sure if she did it or not, and Hercule Poirot himself isn't sure, and then the truth is revealed, and I'm not going to tell you if she did it or not. I highly recommend reading this one, though. This one is definitely an interesting courtroom drama in some parts, but it's a lot of Hercule Poirot going behind the scenes to try and find what happened. So I really enjoyed this one. I think it's a fun and interesting take on the mystery where Hercule Poirot is there after the fact. And it's also interesting to me how the different dynamics play out in this. I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the ending, all of it. I really enjoyed this one. So now we're gonna go into the 2 that I didn't really love. So the first one was not the one I own, but the next one that I got from my library, which was Murder on the Links. So this is the second Poirot mystery. I don't remember which number this one is, but anyways. Murder on the Links was interesting because it had a great mystery. I really did enjoy the mystery element where Hercule Poirot receives a letter saying that someone's gonna need his help, he's in serious trouble, and who knows what's gonna happen to him, and it's a very important case. Now, Hercule Poirot thinks something's up, so he decides to go to this letter's address, which is in France. And when he arrives there, he discovers that the client who had reached out to him has just died. Along with that, there is the police there who are very willing to let Poirot help and be involved in the storyline and in the case solving. But there's another detective who is a French Sherlock Holmes, essentially, and Poirot just spends the whole time mocking this guy, and so it was kind of funny, that play on things. There's this whole family dynamic and interpersonal relationships that come with this one, but my main concern, problem, issue with Murder on the Links is Hastings. Now, I have always said that Poirot is not my favorite detective of Agatha Christie's. And I haven't been able to pinpoint why, because I enjoy several of his books. But I think my problem comes in when he is with Hastings. Now, it's an interesting thing because I didn't really notice until literally the last 2 books that I've read of Agatha Christie, which are the last 2 I'm talking about here. And this one was where Hastings would not shut up about his love life. He met a girl on a train and he was instantly in love, and he would not shut up about it. Especially when she makes an appearance later in the book, because something's fishy and she's definitely involved with his whole murder. So this whole love life plot line I was so annoyed with, and he just couldn't stop talking about it. And it was very frustrating because you're in Hastings' head as he's watching Poirot solve the mystery. So I think I don't like Hastings. I think that's what I've come to as a conclusion, because I did enjoy the mystery and I thought Poirot was a very great detective, but I did not like Hastings in this, and I really just wanted him to shut up and go on about the mystery, because that's the most important part. But then the next book that I read was Taken at the Flood. So this one was my September's pick for Agatha Christie. And this one was an interesting one as well. I don't think I said, but Sad Cypress got 5 stars, and I'm giving Murder on the Links 3 stars. And this one I think I'm giving 3 stars as well, for a different reason. Because, like I said, I've never been a Hercule Poirot fan in my head. But this book does not have much Hercule Poirot. It's his book. And this one is about, long story short, this man had a lot of money and he was not married, he was a bachelor, and he was going to leave all of his money to his cousins and relatives who were working, but they were definitely expecting an inheritance. They weren't like saving anything, or they weren't doing anything like that. So he meets a woman and gets married to her. I accidentally just spoiled something, so jump cut. Anyways, so he dies in a bombing in England, in London, during the Blitz, and she comes into all the money. Now the problem comes when there's this potential that she is already married. Now, this would impact the inheritance and where all the money would go to if she's actually married to him or not. She was informed by her first husband that they were divorced, or that, not divorced, that he had died. And she had asked for a divorce and he would not give it to her. So she believes that her husband is dead. Everyone believes that her husband is dead. But the problem comes that if he's not dead, then the money does not go to her, it goes to the other family members. And so this murder takes place, this mystery takes place years after, a couple years after the bombing. And suddenly they're like, we need to find out if she's lying about, like, if her husband is actually alive, because then we get the money. Now, with this whole thing, Poirot is not really involved with the life in the small little town where all these people live, where all these family members live, and where the new wife is living as well with her brother. And it's such a, it was an okay mystery. I felt like it was really slow. And I wonder if part of that's because Hercule Poirot wasn't in those sections, which is such a weird thing, because I have never missed Hercule Poirot. And this is my, I don't know, revelation that maybe I do need him in a book that his name is on. So I don't know. But yeah, so they ask him to be involved. He sort of checks it out, but he's like, a ghost told you to come talk to me. And he doesn't believe it. And then these things start popping up with information, and he starts truly investigating this situation. So it's an interesting one, and I really enjoyed that. The ending also strikes me as wrong. I don't know how else to say it. One thing I love about Agatha Christie is her mysteries. I love her mysteries. I love her plots. I love how her characters are so diverse, but how you can never really predict who's who and who's guilty and who's not. One thing she's not great at in her mysteries that I have definitely seen is romantic relationships, where people meet each other and then they instantly fall in love, or they propose after knowing each other for 2 weeks. Things like that. Don't like those at all. So yeah, this is kind of one of those where an unrealistic romantic relationship happened, and at the end, I was like, it took me out of this book again. So I don't really know what to think about this, but I definitely didn't love it, and I think I'm settling on 3-star. And it made me realize that I need Hercule Poirot in my Hercule Poirot books. So I think I'm going to amend my stance on Poirot to say that if he's not in a book that his name is on, I need him there. I just don't like Hastings, I think, because every other book that I've read where there is not Hastings, I think I've enjoyed way more than any of the Hastings books. So it's just an interesting thing. So these are the 2 plus the audiobook of Murder on the Links that I read in the third quarter of the month, last quarter. And I will be doing another one of these in December after I finish my last quarter for 2020. I've been enjoying these reviews a lot, but for some reason I forgot to film it in September. So here we are. But I hope that you are doing well. Let me know if you've read any of these 3 Agatha Christies and your thoughts down below. We also can discuss what Agatha Christies I should pick up next if you have any recommendations. I've already read Death on the Nile, which will be in my next quarterly wrap-up and also my monthly wrap-up for October, but I have a couple more for November and December that I have choices for. So please let me know which ones I should read then. And I will talk to you next time with another video. Bye for now.